Hello, guys! You know it's finally time that I finally will get to do, and I mean I will be able to finally talk about, my thoughts about 2022. So now, before I say anything, before we do and ever get to finally talk about my moments of 2022, which we're definitely going to start all the way back from pretty much like before 2021 was already over. Now, before we do, and pretty much we'll get to explain that before we actually did have to say that, well, we're going to pretty much go through anywhere else, so pretty much. So, anyways, before I do say anything here, it's just remember, give this video a like and comment and subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, and plus, again, everybody, we're definitely going to be talking about my moments about 2022 on the good side, no bad side. Because, well, pretty much I have to say that's all I have to say here, so let's get to my best thoughts about 2022. Now, anyway, what was definitely my best moments of 2022? Anyway, so before I say that, is that, well, what was my best moment? Well, it was my YouTube jacket, which I have to say, it was pretty good. I actually finally got that from last Christmas, which I have to say, I have to admit that last Christmas was pretty okay. I have to say that last Christmas was pretty okay and pretty alright, so I have to say it was pretty nice. Anyway, what my next one was definitely was pretty much continuing on with more of the reactions I always usually do, like the more reactions I continued on with. And plus exactly yeah, and also plus about like doing some amount of other scenes, exactly pretty much doing like exactly some some scenes and stuff like Beaver Z and stuff, like pretty much the funny moments I did there on my first channel, exactly. And also about the demonstration, I was wearing my hockey mask as Jason Voorhees, even though that people were still disliking it. But seriously though, I mean, come on, that's just pretty much like decently stupid. Which all I have to say is pretty much stupid, exactly. So, pretty much. Anyway, so what I was actually also enjoying about was after when I was playing Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, I actually did made another absolute good genius video I absolutely made, was definitely called what if Medic and Soldier and Scout died in FNAF 6 ending? Made by 15.ai, no parts in the video. Well, for what I had to say from that one, I had to say that was a great masterpiece. I actually hold it up. I mean, that was a great masterpiece I actually did. Which, I mean, to be that honest though, by the way, I was actually playing Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator on the time. I was definitely continuing on playing that in 2022 because all I had to say about that in 2022, it was pretty good. I mean, even though I was playing Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, which was pretty good though. I mean, gotta be that honest though, it was pretty good while I still played the game, which it still went pretty well, I have to say, from the time, which, just during like around like February as much, so pretty much as around February. And then, of course, yeah, so if you guys did not know, in March 8th exactly, I pretty much had like allergy season because, well, exactly. I mean, I had like an allergy season before that actually happened in somewhere of 2022 in March. Because, well, the one thing I'm talking about why that was actually happening, and it wasn't pretty bit of a good time before I actually would want to mention about that again. So the only thing why I actually had it was just because something was bothering my nose for a few times. Because, it bothered me like freaking hell, like the only way. It just went nonstop for a day. Seriously, I mean, I just so pretty much had like allergy season before. It just really annoyed me the heck out of me because it annoys me a lot. I mean, seriously, I mean, I couldn't even feel my own nose when I was just trying to breathe out of my nostrils just for a second before I actually still responded for a few times. I mean, seriously though, I actually did, and it was pretty much true anyways. And also, about like April Fools, by the way, well, just so you guys only did know, by the way, about April Fools, yeah, I actually had to make that video around like March 30th because, well, I know it was always pretty much about like I know it's always pretty much about about April 1st exactly, but I actually did decide to choose that on the 30th exactly, about April Fools, to say it's April Cool Day. More likely April Fools, but it's only April Cool Day besides April Fools because they both sound similar and alike. They kind of almost did, but it's super different. I mean, it's really kind of actually different. So yeah, I think that's all I had to say from that one. And plus, by the way, well, for what I was actually doing, by the way, is that there was absolutely another sequel. Another different sequel, by the way. But I actually did added something was a very amount of a good, decent video I actually made was around like April 5th, by the way. The only thing I actually did made around on April 5th, by the way, it was definitely called "What If Medic and Soldier and Scout Died in FNAF 6 Ending," made by 15.ai with the cutscene. Well, yeah, about that cutscene, by the way, it actually went pretty well, actually. It did very well while I was actually capturing moments exactly, some out of them, but it was pretty much likely, it was more likely supposed to be pretty decently, which was supposed to be that decent, pretty well decent exactly about that time. Because the only thing I actually did like saying that for the entire day of that time, it was just pretty good as more likely is the best. So that's all I had to pretty much actually be saying. Now, around about like April 7th, by the way, bruh, that video I did was very good. I absolutely made a very good diss track that I like pickles. Why do I like pickles? Because pickles are delicious. Because that's all I like saying is here, like saying pickles all day. Because, that was the amount of a good video I did. Put like the best into it, like put some amount of rapping in there. Like, seriously, it was just good. I actually did liked it, by the way. Now, absolutely around like April 11th, by the way. Well, we all do know that there was something going on with Russia and Ukraine exactly, bruh. I mean, seriously, there was so much going around over there. I mean, bruh, it went non-stop over there. Like, yeah, I think the only thing that was actually bad going onto that time was that that Russia was definitely firing at Ukraine exactly. Which I mean, seriously though, I mean, it just didn't really went well as I'd actually expected to see. Which I mean, bruh, I actually did feel bad for Ukraine getting destroyed by Russia, which I actually did have to say I kind of felt bad for that one since, it didn't win pretty well for either on any other side. Like, I mean, seriously, I mean, there's always sometimes that people may say it's saying like it's no side what it's worth for to actually just say, There's always a line that most people always say that it's not worth citing for exactly. Like it's always been that line, but like by most people, but sometimes just some other people that can say that. Well, for what I'd say in my own opinion, I'd say who would win is definitely Ukraine. I'd say that Ukraine would win. I mean, seriously, firing at a innocent country is just a bad offense. It's just that bad of offense. Even though I'm saying again, I'm only choosing my wise reasons over than just choosing the difficult reasons. The only thing I'm just saying as I am actually staying through to say is that well, yeah, Ukraine should have actually just pretty much defeat Russia in any soon or what moment. But if not, I mean, it still continues on while it still continues on, which it still completely is nonstop still, which again is exactly the only way that's impossible. So, pretty much. And the next one I did was, well, I actually did make a joke, by the way, around like on April 14th, by the way, bruh, I'm gonna tell you guys this joke. Okay, on that joke, by the way, I actually did made was on April 14th, by the way, I actually wear two watches. I'd wear two watches, which was a good joke. I mean, I'd wear two watches around my hand the entire time I'm making that video. I mean, it's supposed to be a funny comedy joke that I actually would say that I would wear two watches for the whole day. Seriously, I mean, it's just kind of funny. I actually never knew that there was a joke coming along by until I invented the joke by saying is, hey, what's this guy wearing two watches for? I mean, yeah, that one I have to say was a real classy. A real classy, and all I'd say it's classic. And then of course, around like on April 16th, by the way, well, what's currently on April 16th exactly? I actually did said that I just pretty much would do like a chipmunk, by the way. So guys, here's another possibility. I actually made my demonstration by doing a chipmunk voice. When I was breathing in that balloon, that wasn't here at helium, by the way. I was speaking like a chipmunk, like bruh. I was laughing like a chipmunk, and I was healing it like a chipmunk. Like seriously though, it's just kind of funny how I never knew. Which I have to say, it's just kind of a bit somewhere I never even mentioned, but it's kind of somewhere on the point of that. And also, for the next one, I'd say is that well, what was pretty bit bad about like the one that was actually dead exactly that I actually had to make the video. So the only thing I actually did made another video on April 17th. It was definitely Gilbert Gottfried exactly. Bro, he was a great voice actor. The most greatest voice actor I ever almost heard. Even hell, he was the voice of Fairy Odd Parents one time. He was playing as like Dr. Winder exactly. He was playing that voice the entire time in the Fairy Odd Parents and most other seasons. But gotta say, it kind of felt bad by seeing the guy was gone by a true legend was. Even hell, he was playing his own son exactly. So yeah, I think that was definitely the rip of him on 2000. I mean, 1955 to 2022. I mean, bro, he was a comedian and a voice actor. If you didn't notice that, he was definitely a comedian and a true voice actor. Well, here's the next one exactly. So the next one I have to say was about like about on, yeah, pretty much around on, pretty much about about 20 on October. I mean, it was on April 21st, by the way. On April 21st, I was definitely a Sonic fan because, well, the reason why I was a Sonic fan, I only stick to my true character I actually liked was playing the voice of Knuckles. Well, Knuckles was a great voice actor. I really truly stick to his own nature, and I definitely followed his absolute best nature by playing the role of Knuckles the Echidna himself. Which seriously, I'd rather get the credit because I'd say that Knuckles the Echidna was a man of a great voice actor. I love playing as him, and he was a great voice actor to be honest. Because I had to say he was good. He may be stupid, but at least I like playing the role as him as much. So that's the only thing I actually knew about that. And well, about that on the next one, of course, which was definitely on Angry Birds, exactly. Well, I was a fan of the pigs, by the way, about while I was playing as the Angry Birds, exactly. Well, here's one reason, in fact, why I was liking the Angry Birds. Well, currently I was a fan of the Angry Birds, but I like playing as the pigs, exactly. Foreman Pig with that mustache, I absolutely did and totally actually loved playing the voice of him by any chance, which I had to say it was amazing. It was the best way I ever seen, and even heck, I even enjoyed it along that time. So all I had to say it was just pretty incredible and pretty amazing at the same time. By the way, it was very mightily incredible. So yeah, that's all I had to say. It was just pretty amazing though, which I had to say it was pretty amazing. So pretty much I had to say that was amazing. I gotta say. And well, yeah, let me see where we're at. Oh, right. I think we were at somewhere on the Finance of Phrase one. Yeah, definitely on that Finance of Phrase one. But anyway, I'll pretty much be continuing talking on with is that definitely about the Oh yeah, right. So we're still continuing talking on April. So the only thing that I was talking about on April was on the 22nd. Well, what was about on the 22nd I was doing? Well, I was actually doing a revisited thing, by the way, doing a revisited exactly. Well, the reason why I was doing a revisited version of Finance of Phrase 2, which I actually still did on number 1 exactly, which was a lot more different I would say, but it was pretty bit of a good moment to me. I mean, about doing the revisited of Finance and Phrase 2, it was a very natural good idea. Which it was a very good idea. And also, after when I was done with that, by the way, well, what was the reason why I was actually enjoying Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic game? I mean, Mario and Sonic at the London Olympic Games. Oh wait, never mind. I think it was the Olympics, the winter ones. So why was I enjoying the winter ones? Mario and Sonic at the London. Damn my throat. Sorry. So about that one, by the way, it was pretty bit of a good video. Which I mean, not gonna lie, I actually said that the video was pretty good. So I had to say it was amazing. It was pretty well done, and even heck, it did mount a good performance, by the way. Ah. So yeah, I think it did pretty much mount a good performances. And also about like I was actually a fan of Finance of Freddy's. Well, it's actually a true statement. Now, before I actually do get to talk about why I was a Finance and Phrase fan, one reason. I like the voice of Foxy the Pirate because, well, I was inspired by Foxy. The one in the games on Finance and Freddy's. I was definitely a true inspired by Foxy the Pirate. I immediately liked his role and I actually decided to do it on this role, and he made was a very good impression of me. I actually loved doing the voice of Foxy. So, anyways, here's another good reason why I was a Mario fan. On pretty much like I was actually liking Toad. Well, the one thing I liked about Toad exactly, he was a good voice actor. I mean, not gonna lie, even though that Toad exactly always tells Mario to say is, "Oh Mario, there's a princess in the next castle." I absolutely love doing that voice of Toad, and his own impression alone, I like doing the voice of Toad because Toad exactly he did pretty well. He did very absolutely well, as I'd say that he did very well, even though it's just my normal voice of him of his own impression. But I'd say that to me, it was a very amount of a great voice. I absolutely totally liked. So it was amazing. That's awesome. So yeah, that was it. And also, why was I actually a fan of Team Fortress 2 exactly? Well, here's the reason why I was a big, huge, giant fan of that game. The only thing I actually did like about that game is the voice of Spy, Medic, and Soldier, and pretty much like the rest of the other characters. I actually did like the voice exactly. So here's the one thing I actually liked Spy. Spy was a man of a good voice. I love the way how he cloaks every time. He pretty much makes the best way possible. Like, I love the role of Spy by him doing like a French exactly. I actually liked him doing most of my amount of likely some amount of good ways exactly of trying to spies on other teams exactly by shape shifting. He was a good character. I absolutely liked doing that guy, and he was pretty good to be that honest. And also, here's another thing about DC. Why I was a big fan of the Joker. Now, this is going to get pretty exciting for me to actually explain why do I like the Joker. Well, the reason for I did like the Joker and other DC characters that I absolutely did truly liked, well, here's one. I absolutely did love doing the Joker's impression because the Joker inspired me in two amount of good, crazy amount of good ways on fighting on Batman. The rest of the other DC villains, it was very amount of a good reason how I loved the Joker. He did pretty well. I mean, to be that honest though, it was just pretty much that good. I liked doing most likely the most of the best things that I ever want to hear exactly. Now, also about the next one is that why am I a Plants vs Zombies fan? Well, I'm going to get to that just now. So about Plants vs Zombies, of course. Well, I was kind of inspired exactly by the only thing I liked Plants vs Zombies. It was because I liked the zombies better over than the plants. And plus, yeah, I actually did like that exactly, so I prefer to say it was awesome. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome though. I mean, it was very awesome why I was inspired about that. And also, yes, and also, why am I a gamer? Well, I actually like being a fan as a gamer, so pretty much easier taken because, we're not going to pretty much be talking too amount of longer things because, well, yeah, because they're due to the minutes on 30, so I actually decided to do 30 minutes on this video, which I'm not going to make a longer too many videos on this. Now, here's a bit of a good video I absolutely wanted to say. Zane Vlogs meets and fights Zane Vlogs, Zane.exe parody. Now, why I actually did make that video? Well, that video was pretty good and it was very honest and pretty amazing exactly. Well, here's going to be another backwards Saru and backwards change. So the next backwards change I might do in 2023 is that I will be doing to make another video. It'll definitely be Dark Devin versus Zang Vlogs, and then another switcheroo with me versus Zang.exe. Which, I mean, it's pretty bit different and bizarre, and it's a little bit kind of actually a bit familiar. But it may somewhere happen around 2023 if I actually do get that project coming out that soon, and pretty much in the pretty much on Catween exactly, which I mean, I'll try to see what I can do in Catween as most likely I could, but like I said, there is going to be a problem. Like, the one problem I'd say is that it won't pretty much be that looking good about that one, which I know it kind of sucks. The only thing it does suck right now is that I pretty much can't get the MP free, or should I say the MP free, which most likely means to get the audios. The audios mean it's supposed to get like audio files in them, so that way it could just pretty much do its own thing in comparison. Only the way how I actually would be getting them in, some of them in, but it's kind of a bit of a problem. So that wouldn't pretty much be a very good reason. So I'll see what I can do about that one. So I could pretty much be fixing that. So probably. Anyway, so here's my next one, by the way. The next one is why I've been a horror killer fan. I mean, why am I actually been a horror fan? One word and two words. Why did I actually like it? Well, it was honestly because I liked the hockey mask of Jason Voorhees. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I actually got that one. I actually got that new one from Christmas, by the way. I actually got that one from Christmas. And also, plus, this is my old one, exactly. This is my old one. So, pretty much that's the next difference I actually said. So, anyway, about that thing exactly, why I actually like horror killers exactly, why I was a big fan about that. The only thing I was inspired, by the way, is Jason Voorhees. I really love Jason Voorhees' movies, his work of Friday the 13th, and amount of good reasons. Why? I was inspired by Jason Voorhees by picking up the machete and using a lot of other weapons and different techniques, which I'd say that I love the way how Jason Voorhees always goes after the campers in Camp Crystal Lake. Because I might say I was a very big inspired fan of Jason Voorhees, and it would be very much really like the best way possible I actually liked about Jason Voorhees. So yeah, that's why I was been a horror fan exactly. So pretty much. Now, anyways, about the next one, of course, why was a big fan of total drama? Total drama. Well, one word and a few amount of other words. Why was I another big fan about total drama? The reason why I actually liked playing as Duncan. I love the voice of Duncan, aka Drew. It was aka Drew Nelson exactly. I loved the dude's voice actor. He was a man of a good actor I ever seen in his play. I love the way how he played the role of Duncan himself, the juvenile delinquent in the first season I ever heard. And plus, by the way, I was really inspired by Duncan and his other amount of good possibilities. Sure, he may be a lucky good ticket exactly for most likely trying to take most anyone else out of the ring, but he still continued on being the man today himself. Plus, he won season 2, which I was very happy of him winning the real win exactly, besides the alternative thing, which kind of was a bit of a different way out of that. So, pretty much. And of course, my favorite second would definitely be Owen, so that's pretty much the reason about that. Now, what was I a big fan of SpongeBob? Well, the only thing I'm actually a big fan of SpongeBob, of course, well, I actually was a big fan of him, of course, which I actually did said I actually liked the voice of Patrick because, well, why was I a big fan of Patrick? Because, well, Patrick, honestly, he was a pretty good actor. I mean, seriously, I love the dude's actor by Patrick. Patrick was a good actor in SpongeBob, which I absolutely did like, of course, which was very awesome and very most likely at best times. So yeah, that's all I just said. And also plus by the way, here's another one I actually want to say. The beats. So why was I actually making some beats by the way? Plus I actually made like 14. Like bruh, I made like 14 amount of good beats by the way. So yeah, I'll actually pretty much be explaining that exactly right now is also why did I like the beats exactly? Well, it was most likely about the music I enjoy by Neffex. Why was I inspired about his music? His music was rocking roll, amount of good punk and awesome, and that amount of amazingness because I actually enjoyed all that. You know, it had like amount of good beats, amount of good rhythms every time, and had amount of good statements too on those. It made amount of good statements. And also, here's the best news I want to actually explain: is why I was a big fan of Mortal Kombat. Well, first off, why was I a big fan of Mortal Kombat? One, I actually like Scorpion, the one in yellow. So yes, why do I like Scorpion? Scorpion was so inspired. I loved his spear and I loved his quotes 2 times by him yelling "Get over here" and then "Come here." I actually liked Scorpion's moves in any other way possibility. His moves were awesome, and the way I liked him being inspired, I liked to hear from Scorpion. And also, second, I liked Sub Zero. Why did I like Sub Zero? It's all about the ice powers he uses. The only thing I actually did like about Sub Zero, it went very inspiring. It was just so inspiring that I love that voice every time. That whenever Sub Zero uses that freeze actually every time to freeze the opponents, he actually makes a good always the man of the best appearances whenever he actually just immediately shows up and then pretty much does that. So yeah, and also plus, here's another one about the next one, of course. Well, here's this next one I want to actually be talking about is the Well, here's this, and also why did I actually like Mortal Kombat trilogy? By the way, here's what I actually liked Mortal Kombat trilogy because Mortal Kombat trilogy was kind of a bit of a good video. I mean, to be honest, by the way, I actually liked Mortal Kombat trilogy because, bruh, I played Mortal Kombat trilogy on the stream. I actually played it, and it was awesome. I mean, even though that there were amount of losses, but it still was very good at most times. I actually figured the way how I'd be using my techniques pretty well. And also about the next one about is Dan versus. Well, about Dan versus a pretty good video. Dan versus a pretty good show exactly. Why I was pretty much inspired by Dan versus. So yeah, all I had to say was that Dan versus was pretty good. By the way, I watched his through his seasons like 1, 2, and 3. It was pretty bit of a good episode, like most of the best episodes I ever watched. So yeah, I gotta say that was a pretty bit of a good video. And also, what was the very next best thing I actually enjoyed about was definitely called Me versus Dark Devin. Well, what was the good thing I actually enjoyed about? Bruh, I finally was enjoying a good showdown with Me versus Dark Devin. Like, hands up. Like, hands down. I loved enjoying that action each time. Seriously, I mean, it was just good. It was just really good. Like it was just really good. Like seriously, I had to challenge my dark self along the way. Like I have to say that was the best video I actually had to say. Was a very amount of a good time I actually had to say because it was just amazing because it was just amazing. So yeah, that's just it. Anyway, and also, why was I a big fan of the Seattle Seahawks? Well, for once, and I'll say this once and a few times, is why did I actually say that I like the Seattle Seahawks? Well, the reason why I like the Seattle Seahawks, by the way, because it was them actually just trying to face all the NFL players. Because I had to say that the Seahawks was trying real hard to get to the playoffs, and it kind of actually pissed me off that the Seahawks lost, which I mean, I wanted them to win to the big champions, which I absolutely did wanted them to win. So there's no side what I'm going to be citing for to see who wins at the end of that time, which I absolutely don't know what's going to happen there and there. So yeah, I mean, it's only going to just be me talking about other moments, which we're going to pretty much all skip all of that because, well, I think it's going to just pretty much take a little bit of a long talk exactly. So I think that's exactly what. And also, here's the next one I want to be mentioning and to bring up is the next one. The next one I actually enjoyed was my Xbox collection. Well, the reason why I liked my Xbox collection, one, I had to say that the Xbox collection was just pretty good and amazing. I loved playing that game. I mean, the Xbox collection, man, it brought me to a amount of good memories by actually enjoying it. So I just say it was pretty good too. I mean, it was pretty good. And next up is Martin Song at the London Olympics. Well, about that, by the way, it was good. I mean, Martin Song at the London Olympics was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. And also, plus about Finds a Phrase Free Revisited. I loved playing the game about the Revisited again on Finance Affairs free. It still was pretty good, and it still kept kicking butt as usual about that one, so it was pretty good. Now, the next one is Mortal Kombat 4. Well, why did I actually like Mortal Kombat 4? Well, the reason why Mortal Kombat 4 was amazing, bro, I enjoyed Mortal Kombat 4. It brought me so many good memories from the 19s. But now I have to say again that it was very good once again in Mortal Kombat 4. Sure, it may might as well be into the due to the voice actors exactly, but it still went very well as perfect as I actually brought to say to mention. So gotta say it was pretty good though. It was very good. So anyway, guys, say we're gonna pretty much be running out of time any moment. So thank you all very much for being patient, and thank you all very much for watching. So I had to say, I absolutely have to say that 2022 was pretty good, but even though on the bad times, I had to say that well, they all kind of sucked. As I always say, it kind of sucks automatically, so it sucked. Anyway, as I have to say, that I hope that you all enjoyed the rest of the video. Like I said once again, is give this video a like and comment and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified. And plus, it's going to be pretty much a bit of a long video, anyways, about my thoughts of 2022. So I either just had to skip some of them, or just I had to just talk about some of them. So pretty much, I had to say. Anyway, Captain Toad, the holder of pictures. See you in 2023.